This presentation covers RTD's proposed service changes for June 2026. Let's begin with a quick safety update. In 2025, RTD recorded year-over-year decreases in security-related calls for nearly every month of 2025. In 2025, RTD conducted nearly 5 million fare checks on rail. Currently, RTD Transit Police headcount is at 105 officers as of January 2026. Now, let's go over what service changes are, when they occur, and how they impact RTD services. Now we'll discuss the proposed service changes for June 2026. By the end of this presentation, you will better understand service changes at RTD, including the proposed changes for June 2026. We'll also tell you how you can provide feedback and learn about the next steps in the review process. RTD reviews, proposes, and implements changes to its service schedules 3 times per year. Usually they take effect in January, late May or early June, and July or September. Service changes support multiple objectives, such as increasing reliability of RTD services, improving on-time performance, enabling represented employees to select work, and accounting for changes in ridership. There are 5 categories of service changes: route adjustments, service increases, service reductions, seasonal adjustments, and scheduled timings. Route adjustments consist of detours or changes to routes or stops to optimize efficiency, improve accessibility, respond to changing travel patterns, or facilitate maintenance projects. A service increase consists of increases to the frequency, trips, span of service, or operating hours of a route. A service reduction consists of reductions to the frequency, trips, span of service, or operating hours. A seasonal adjustment consists of temporary modifications made to bus and rail services in response to seasonal variations in demand or operational conditions. Finally, the scheduled timing category consists of alterations to the running time of bus and rail services, typically to better align with customer demands and trip connections, as well as improvements to on-time performances. In this section, we'll explain the proposed changes for June 2026. As we begin this presentation, we'll briefly discuss changes related to Senate Bill 24-230. Due to oil and gas production fees created by SB 24-230, RTD is expecting to receive $9.25 million from a new grant in 2026. The grant, known as the Clean Transit Enterprise Grant, requires RTD to expand transit service through increases to frequency, span, or geography. RTD is currently in the process of completing a contract with the Colorado Department of Transportation to receive the CTE funding. Routes included in the grant application for service changes include the 16th Street Free Ride, routes 19, 21, 22, 37, 53, 80, ART, and the LD3, soon to be known as the 287. First, let's start with proposed changes affecting RTD's rail system. Due to the resumption of the downtown rail replacement project taking place this summer, trains will not be able to access the central downtown loop. This updated rail map depicts how the proposed changes for June 2026 affect RTD's rail system. Notably, the map depicts the temporary reinstatement of the C line, the temporary addition of the T line, and the suspension of the L and H lines. Due to the temporary suspension of the D line, it's recommended to reinstate the C line during the downtown rail reconstruction project. The C line goes from Denver Union Station to Mineral Station. It's proposed to operate the T line, also known as the temporary line, between Lincoln Station and I-25 and Broadway Station. Trains would run every 15 minutes on weekdays from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., then every 30 minutes until midnight, or 2 a.m. on Fridays. On weekends, trains would run every 30 minutes until 9 a.m., then every 15 minutes from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. After that, they would run every 30 minutes until 2 a.m. on Saturday and midnight on Sunday. Due to the resumption of the downtown rail replacement project taking place this summer, trains will not be able to access the central downtown loop. With the need to accommodate additional services into Denver Union Station, RTD proposes trip time adjustments for the E and W lines to make room for the additional service. These adjustments will allow better coordination with additional train services into Denver Union Station. For additional reference, the capacity at Denver Union Station is 12 trains per hour for reliable service. For the R line, it's proposed to extend service to Ridgegate Parkway while providing 15-minute frequency on weekdays from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Final phases of the downtown rail reconstruction project will not allow for RTD to operate trains at Colfax area through the downtown loop. With the C line routing to serve Union Station, there is not enough track capacity to reroute the H line to Union Station. Because of this, it's proposed to suspend service on the H line. If this change is approved, customers would transfer to and from the E line or the T line at Bellevue Station for northbound service. Since final phases of the downtown rail reconstruction project will not allow for RTD to operate trains at Colfax area through the downtown loop, it's proposed to suspend service on the L line. If approved, service on bus route 43 would be increased to support L line customers. For the Denver Tech Center Flex Ride, it's proposed to expand service hours from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday, and add Saturday service from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. As previously recommended in the January 2026 service change recommendations, and recognizing continued low customer utilization, it's recommended to discontinue operation of the Platte Valley Flex Ride. Current utilization on this route averages less than 0.6 passengers per hour, or 8 passengers per day. The service was implemented in August 2019 as a replacement for an underperforming fixed route service, the Route 33. Alternative service to the Platte Valley Flex Ride can be found on the Denver Connector West service, which overlaps a significant portion of the Flex Ride service area. For the B line, it's proposed to restore a 30-minute peak frequency on weekdays from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Due to the resumption of the downtown rail reconstruction project, service will divert to Denver Union Station via the Central Platte Valley Corridor. Due to the resumption of the downtown rail reconstruction project, schedule and trip time adjustments are also recommended to allow for additional service at Denver Union Station. For the G line, it's proposed to restore 15-minute frequency weekdays from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now let's discuss the proposed schedule timing changes for June 2026. Schedule timing adjustments are recommended for the following routes: routes 0, 8, 15, 16, the 16th Street Free Ride, 17, 19, 20, routes 21, 36, 37, 51, 92, 104L, 204, and 225. The details for each schedule timing adjustment can be found on our website, but here are a few noteworthy proposed changes that will be mentioned now. For the routes 15 and 15L, schedule adjustments are recommended in response to construction impacts related to the Colfax Bus Rapid Transit project. As proposed in the Clean Transit Enterprise grant process, The weekday 16th Street free ride service is recommended to be increased from 4.5-minute frequency to 3-minute frequency, pending formal CTE funding agreements. This recommendation increases transit service alternatives between Denver Union Station and the Wade Blank Civic Center stations. The Clean Transit Enterprise Grant application also recommends the extension of Route 19 to North Glen and 112th Avenue Station, pending formal CTE funding agreements. For the 37, the CTE grant process, and as represented in the Systems Optimization Plan, Route 37 service frequency is recommended to be 30 minutes during peak period, with midday and evening service offered hourly on weekdays. Schedule timing adjustments are also proposed for GS and Jump. For the GS, minor changes to the schedule are recommended. For the Jump, it's proposed to adjust Saturday running times and reduce summer service levels. In this section, we'll explain the proposed service increases for June 2026. It's proposed to operate the T line, also known as the temporary line, between Lincoln Station and 925 and Broadway. Trains would run every 15 minutes on weekdays from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., then every 30 minutes until midnight, or 2 a.m. on Fridays. On weekends, trains would run every 30 minutes until 9 a.m., every 15 minutes from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and finally every 30 minutes until 2 a.m. on Saturday and midnight on Sunday. Proposed bus service increases are proposed for the following routes: 0L, 10, 15, the 16th Street free ride, 19, 21, 37, routes 43, 53, 80, 104L, ART, and Route 287. The full details of the proposed bus service increases can be found on RTD's website or in the notes on this slide. In this section, we'll explain the proposed route adjustment changes for June 2026. For Route 15, it's proposed to extend the route to the Amazon warehouse located at 21000 East 13th Avenue in Aurora. Service to the new terminal was suspended until a traffic signal could be installed at Colfax and Piccadilly, which is expected to be in operation prior to the beginning of this next service change. For Route 17, it's proposed to change the route to operate from stop 12979 West Colfax and Sim Street, turning right on Oak Street and right on West Railroad to serve Oak Station, then turn left on Quail Street and continuing to Federal Center Station. This change would improve on-time performance, service reliability, and transfers with Route 16 by strengthening connections at Oak Station and creating a more efficient and consistent route alignment. As proposed in the Clean Transit Enterprise grant process and the System Optimization Plan, it's recommended to extend Route 19 to North Glen and 112th Avenue Station, pending the formal CTE funding agreements. As proposed in the Clean Transit Enterprise grant process and the System Optimization Plan, it's proposed for the Route 21 to be split into two separate route services, with service increased to 15 minutes for the 21 East Evans alignment between Evans Station to Aurora Metro Station. The west side of the former Route 21 would be renamed Route 22 West Evans. Following changes proposed for Route 21, a new route designation is recommended. It would be known as Route 22, and include the former alignment of Route 21 west of Evans Station. Previously, this change was presented and adopted in the System Optimization Plan, with the western segment of the former Route 21 being designated as Route 21W. For Route 28, it's proposed to simplify the route by terminating all short-turn trips at the 30th and Downing Station instead of multiple locations during peak periods. This change will make the route more predictable and easier to understand for customers, while maintaining service to key destinations like Central Park Station. For Route 38, it's proposed to move the western terminal to Clear Creek Crossing Transfer Center. This change would maintain service to the newly constructed Lutheran Hospital and provide operator restroom access at the transfer center. For Route 44, it's proposed to straighten the alignment of the westbound pattern of the route to use Broadway and 15th Street in place of Lincoln Street, 18th Street, and California Street to improve on-time performance. From Gate 2, the 44 would take a left on Broadway, right on Cheyenne Place, right on 15th Street, and continue on the rest of the route as it currently exists. The new pattern would move Route 44 inside Wade Blank Civic Center Station at Gate 2. For Route 225, it's proposed to adjust the service pattern to terminate at Willoughby from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Before 7 a.m. and after 7 p.m., the eastern terminal would remain at Lafayette Park and Ride. This change will improve on-time performance and accommodate lack of operator respite access. For the Dash, it's proposed to update the service pattern to terminate at Canterbury Drive / Willoughby Boulevard between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Outside of these hours, the eastern terminal would be Lafayette Park and Ride. This change would account for seasonal demand changes and would improve on-time performance. In this section, we'll explain the proposed service reduction changes for June 2026. For the Platte Valley Flex Ride, it's proposed to discontinue operation of the service. For Route 7, it's proposed to reduce to 60 minutes versus 30 minutes after 10 p.m. weekdays. For 112, it's suggested to discontinue various evening trips due to low ridership. For 120, it's proposed to discontinue the weekday 10 p.m., 11 p.m. westbound trips and 10:02 p.m. eastbound trips due to low ridership. For Route 228, it's proposed to discontinue the weekday 9:07 p.m. northbound and 9:17 p.m. southbound trips. It's also proposed to discontinue the Saturday-Sunday 8:07 p.m. northbound trip and the 8:13 p.m. southbound trip. For Route 520, it's proposed to discontinue weekday 7:45 p.m. westbound trip and the 8 p.m. eastbound trip due to low ridership. In this section, we'll explain the proposed seasonal adjustment changes for June 2026. It's proposed to suspend seasonal service for the following routes: Route 11, 15, 20, 24, 35, 42, 45, 51, routes 65, 73, 225, dash, jump, NB, and skip. Now we'll discuss how to provide feedback and input. Whether you are a frequent customer or community member affected by changes at RTD, your feedback is important to us. There are many ways you can provide public comment on the proposed service changes for June 2026. To provide feedback online, visit www.rtd-denver.com/service-changes to complete an online survey. If you wish to provide feedback over the phone, contact our customer care team during normal business hours at 303-299-6000. The RTD team hosts events in the community throughout the year, during which you can also provide public comment. Visit the RTD events page to see where we will be next. If you prefer to provide comment via email, send a note over to service.change@rtd-denver.com. Finally, all customers and members of the public are invited to attend RTD Board of Directors meetings. RTD has established the following public comment process for public meetings. Customers wishing to provide public comment orally should raise their virtual hand and will be called on one at a time. Each speaker will have 2 minutes to provide comment. Once the timer has expired, you'll hear a brief chime. At this point, please conclude your comments. Once 2 minutes have expired, a new speaker will be called to provide comment. Customers who wish to type their comments may do so by inputting them into the Q&A function. RTD staff will not respond to questions or comments posed. Their role is to document the feedback. If you're interested in having a dialogue with staff, please join an upcoming session of the RTD Ask a Service Provider series. The next one is Monday, February 23rd from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. During the public comment process, customers are asked to be respectful of RTD staff and fellow attendees. To ensure that there is adequate time for public comment, if you agree with the previous speaker's comments, you're encouraged to say or type in the Q&A, "I agree with what has been stated." 1 hour is scheduled for this meeting. If you're not called to provide comment, you can submit your comment via RTD website or attend another public meeting session, in addition to sending your messages to us via email or in the Q&A function. Finally, we'll discuss the timeline and next steps for the proposed June 2026 service changes. From February 18th to March 4th, public meetings and activities to solicit feedback will be conducted. On March 4th, public comment and feedback deadline will occur. On March 11th, the proposed service changes and public comments will be shared with the Operations, Safety, and Security Committee. On March 24th, the Board of Directors will take action on the proposed June 2026 service changes. If approved, the service changes will take effect on June 7th. Thank you for writing RTD.